All right. Welcome. Well, thank you. I'd like to introduce, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Sally Clement, and I work with Connecticut Rivers Council, Senior District Executive for Hockanum River, and want to welcome you guys to our interview today, and it is with Drew Paradise, who works
Hello.
with LEGO in Enfield.
Yeah,
Thank
hi.
you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, really excited.
Absolutely, appreciate it. So this week we have started a virtual Spirit Week for our scouts, and we just wanted to kind of give them something to look forward to. And today we have it's Build Your Adventure Day. So with that, we thought, why not have some the kids that are interested build with Legos today, and we're
Great.
actually doing competitions. So I thought, who better than try to, get in touch with somebody from Lego. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm glad to help.
Thank you. So let's start off. You work at Lego, you said, in Enfield.
Yes, I
And
do.
how long have you been there?
I've worked for the Lego Group now for 9 years, just about 9 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, exciting.
And how did you get started in that?
That's a great story. I got started with the Lego Group. I was working for another company for a movie theater. And though I loved it, a friend of mine called me and asked me couple questions about, you know how when customers come up to you at the movie theater, a lot of times it's when something's not working right or something's wrong, the lights are too high or it's a little blurry on screen or, the popcorn's a little stale, but I ate half of it anyway. And then they said, like really going to the movies, a lot of times, about 10% of the customers that came up to you were really excited about the movie they just saw and said, oh, it was so great. I said, yeah, that's normal. He said, well, I'm working at Lego in what was then called customer service. And he said, it's completely the opposite. 90% of the people that we talk to are so excited to be talking to us that even if there's an issue, they're just happy that they're actually talking to the real Lego. And 10% of those people also really needed that extra attention to solve their issue. I said, no way, that can't be true. So I went and tried it out and I loved it. The culture, everything about the company, it really spoke to me. So I ended up leaving working at the movie theater behind to start a career at playing with toys.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's funny. Sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know.
Yeah,
This,
it is.
are definitely, absolutely
Yeah,
interesting and so
I,
close.
I have to say, I have to thank that person so much for the suggestion because
Absolutely.
it's been a wild ride.
Pretty cool. So what would a day in the life of you, well, let me ask you, so what would your title be?
I'm a contact center trainer.
Okay.
And yeah, so my department was formerly consumer services. It's consumer shopper engagement because we're so much more than just customer service. We do a lot involving engaging with our actual consumers to, helping people make purchases, to solving their problems, to just being involved and saying, hey, did you know this is something that's out there, which is really great.
That's cool. Very cool. So yeah, take us through what would a day look like for you if you are in quarantine right now.
Sure. A day for me is so different every day. It's hard to just lay out what one normal working day is like. My team is a global team. I actually just visited them just before everything started happening. The very end of February, we were actually over in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And then everything started happening and we had to get home quick. So it was quite an adventure, but my team is a global team that there's several of us that sit in Enfield, Connecticut, which is the North American hub essentially for Lego. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of my team is in the United Kingdom, in Slough, which is really close to London. And then in Singapore, I have a team member there as well. So globally, it's hard to have a meeting where we're all together because of the time differences. But
Yeah, absolutely.
but a normal day for me essentially is kind of planning out what material needs to be developed or trained on, and that can be from anything from new products to something, a new process change or policy change, to a new system being used, to anything really. And it's quite an adventure because it's usually always global, and we're working together and we're really trying to find out solutions to things on how to present that. And our department works so well with all the other people and stakeholders that in our actual area, and it's extremely fun.
Very cool. Okay. All right. How, like, what are your work hours? Does
That's
that vary as well?
Well, it's definitely varied a bit during these quarantine
Okay.
times. Typical work hours, if we work an 8-hour day, so if we're working, morning shift, you could work 8 to 4 or a little later, but it's a the day goes by fast. I'll
Yep.
always say that the day is the amount of times we're working with each other and we're like, oh my gosh, it's 2 o'clock already. Like, geez, where did it go? It never feels like the day's dragging. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. Yep. So testing materials, when you're doing that, so do you get to actually then use the materials and actually get to build with the ones that you tested?
So I wish I could say that I'm building everything that comes through and playing with it. We have some great people in our department that
Okay.
actually their job is really to, when something comes in, they'll actually build it and they'll report that anything out to our teams that need to know how easy a build was, or if anything was, if there was anything needed to be adjusted or anything like that. And
Yep.
they'll explain the workings to my team if it's something that needs to be taught throughout the entire department. And it's a very good partnership that we have.
Very cool. Very cool. So let me
I
ask
wish
you,
I was building it.
what is it? Master Builders, right? The
We
competition on TV. Do you get into
Yeah.
it? Do you watch it?
Oh, I watched the whole thing, and honestly,
Very cool.
at first I knew I was going to watch it. I just
Yeah.
didn't know how addicted to it I was going to get.
Mhm.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like,
Very cool.
and it's funny too because you think like, well, you're working with the product all the time. You might not want to bring it into your entertainment or this or that, but they did the show so well. It was so fun and just funny that my wife and I literally watched every episode, and we were hooked. We loved it.
Okay. Have you
Great.
met any of the Master Builders?
So they're the actual designers who design the product. They're all in Denmark designing the product together. In Enfield, we do have master builders that are doing really great, cool work. If you ever see, you'll see some big statues or things that usually when people were gathering together, for like a big movie release, you might see a big Lego statue there.
Okay.
And we put a lot of those together in Enfield, one of those places that does that.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
do you guys have a YouTube channel? Like, are there some of that kids can find on YouTube?
Yeah, Lego does have a YouTube channel, and they have a lot of different content that's on that particular channel, whether it's teaching people how to do really cool little alternative building, how if it goes, and kind of hypes up some of our new products. You'll see a lot of designer videos explaining what some really great new things do, what some of those sets do, and what their features are. And you'll see that, and you'll see we even a couple of years ago had a kind of a, I don't want to call it a prank show, but there was a little show that some people would actually go to different locations and kind of be silly. So there's a lot of great content on there. I highly recommend it. A lot of kids and adults love going on YouTube. And, if you love our product and you love the brand and you love the culture, it's a wonderful place to go.
Nice, nice. How long has the building or Enfield, like Lego, been there?
Oh, that's a really good question too. I honestly, I couldn't give you the exact years. I know it was I believe, early middle 70s. We came out and we were in Connecticut, but I believe it was late 70s. Oh, I hope I don't get corrected. But
Okay.
when we moved to Enfield, and we've
Gotcha.
been there since. We've been there for a very long time. We
Okay.
have a great relationship with the town.
What year did Lego start?
Lego itself as a company started in 1932.
Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know
and they, yeah. Danish company that started in 1932, and they actually started with wooden toys before they got into metals or plastics. And then we've eventually just kind of pushed away on the wooden toys
that.
and anything metal, and we've been plastic building blocks ever since.
I think I had the wooden ones.
You know, you might have had some wooden building construction toys. I don't know if, I don't believe we ever did building blocks as wooden,
Right. Were
but
they
one of
Lincoln logs?
Lincoln Logs Lincoln Logs was a company that did,
That's
yeah.
my era.
Ah, that's all right. That's okay. You know, little competition's always healthy. Um, they started out with one of the most famous things that Lego made in their very beginning days was a little duck. It was a little duck on wheels that you pulled, and this was again in the early 30s. And it's just that's kind of where it started. It came from there. Just one family in Denmark was taking care of
Wow.
taking care of the family and started making toys. It was wonderful.
So if you come across one of those, it's an antique.
Phew, if you come across one of those wooden Lego ducks, hold on to it.
Yep,
That's what I'll say.
that's cool. Very cool. What would you consider your best experience thus far working there?
I To name one would almost be impossible. I would tell you honestly, I was working as an agent and advisor, taking phone calls at one point, and
Okay.
some other people in other departments would always come in and do listen-ins with us, and it's really great insights for everybody. But somebody had asked me about my opinion on a reason a caller came in, and I had given it to them, and they took that opinion and literally couple years later, it was something we kind of developed and we moved in on. I believe it was Halloween costumes. It was something that we were lacking at the time,
Mhm.
and parents were calling us about it because at the time Ninjago was one of our is still one of our best brands, but there were kids wanted to dress up as little ninjas, and that was something that we were kind of missing the mark on, and we ended up doing things like that. And it's really great to see and actually know that the management listens to not just our fans, it listens to us, and that means something as a company. It really is. The culture is wonderful, and I couldn't be happier. That's just exciting for me.
Very cool. Um, any suggestions for any kids that might watch that later on would love to get a job with Lego?
Oh, I would say if your dream is to work for Lego, there's so many amazing areas that you can work in. If you say I want to be a master builder one day, you can do it. It's a demanding, area, but it's still really unique. You just have to build. That would be the biggest thing is build, and practice building without the instructions, and
Okay.
build some of your own things, without getting kind of just practice, see what you can make on your own, and constantly build. And then there's also going into the marketing aspect. If you want to show people how great Lego is, there's always you can get in the marketing area. If you just want to learn about Lego and see who our fans really are, consumer shopper engagement, my department is a wonderful place to start. Also with the company, really is a great place to gain insight and even get your a leg in. It's wonderful.
Nice. Okay. Um, so any background in scouting?
Oh, I know. No, I do not have a background in scouting. I wish I did, honestly. It's always, it's such a wonderful thing. And a couple of friends of mine were in scouts, and they did so well. And I just commend you guys for everything you do and everything you're learning. And honestly, I really wish I did.
No, so appreciate that because I wasn't sure if you did, and because you said yes that you would do this interview, so I was like, oh, okay. But to know that no scouting background, and then still want to be able to do this interview for us for the youth is, I thank you. We appreciate it so much, and
Yeah.
I mean a lot of these kids. So with today they're building, doing their Lego build and sending us pictures.
Mm.
Would you mind if we sent those to you, if you would be, a judge for us?
I would love to help out. I will say that I will be judging this on the behalf of me being a big Lego fan.
Right, exactly. That's it. That is it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with anything, just your personal, absolutely.
Sure thing. Absolutely.
That. All right. Well, I think that's it. I could probably go on and on, but I don't want to take up any more of your time, and so appreciative that you did take the time out today to talk to us for our virtual Spirit Week. So I thank you. And
you're very welcome. Thank you
right.
so much for inviting me.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
You too. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.